A lot of reaction coming in after President Donald Trump says he is directing federal agencies to reopen Alcatraz as a federal prison, even though it has been closed for over 60 years. The prison became too expensive to maintain and has since become a real tourist attraction, hosting more than 1 million visitors each year. President Trump says his idea came because of all the pushback he's gotten from federal judges over the removal of migrants without due process.
They want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally. That would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening.
The president's proposal, of course, sparking immediate reaction. Veronica Macias is live with more on the likelihood of its reopening, which, as a prison, which does not seem that likely.
It doesn't, and good afternoon. Yes, we know very little details about the president's proposal to reopen Alcatraz as a prison, but already people that we've talked to here at the marina telling me that it's better to keep this an iconic San Francisco attraction than returning it to a prison. Now, back when it did operate some 63 years ago, we do know that it could house up to 300 inmates, we know. And we know it was also very difficult to get everything onto the rock as it's known here. It's not far from us here at the marina, just a little over a mile, but all the supplies that were coming in onto the rock, including fresh water, had to come in by boat. Now, the reason Alcatraz shut down, like you said, under then Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, was because of the island's isolation. It was the ultimate security prison and an ideal place to house the most dangerous of criminals, people like Al Capone. And while the president's idea is not being taken seriously by some lawmakers on Capitol Hill, who say this is possibly all a distraction from concerns about tariffs and the economy, the idea has been brought up before under the Reagan administration. There was a proposal to perhaps hold up to 20,000 Cuban detainees on the rock. Plus, in the early 1900s, Angel Island held an immigration processing station for Asian immigrants. And the president's border czar has ordered already announcements here of an immediate assessment of the president's directive.
Well, we need detention beds, and we do contracts, a lot of states, a lot of local municipalities, so that's, I think, it's certainly an option, especially for the significant public safety threats, national security threats. I mean, should be on the table.
However, people that we talked to earlier today here in the marina say that they had been to Alcatraz plenty of times as children, and while they support the president's crackdown on immigration, they say they don't think this idea is practical.
No, that's our major tourist site and great for the economy, and then you go, oh, but it is a prison, but yet are there better alternatives? So again, I go back to the numbers more than the actual job description of it, because I think the numbers are going to dissolve this whole thing.
While I think there does something need to be done about illegal immigration, I don't think reopening Alcatraz would make sense because it would be too expensive. You would have to totally redo the thing, probably even have to tear it down and rebuild it. And then it's very expensive to operate because you have to bring everything over.
Okay, so looking at the numbers, and according to the National Park Service, the park, Alcatraz, brings in about 1.6 million visitors annually and also brings in a revenue of 600 million annually. So you have to compare the difference, whether you want this to be a big expense or whether you want this to generate money. People out here saying, keep Alcatraz the way it is.
Yeah, does not sound like that math is adding up. Thank you, Veronica.